Aloha, this is Daryl Huff in H&N Digital Center with H&N political analyst Colin Moore, and we're talking about the charter amendments in various counties. Right now, we're going to talk about 5 amendments. That's the record for this year for Kauai. The number 1 amendment here, question number 1, relates to the police commission investigations. Colin, what does this one do?
So what this is going to do is extend the amount of time the commission has to make these investigations. Right now, they have 90 days to go through the full investigation.
And make a report.
And make a report, exactly. So it's not just the investigation. They got to write the report, too. The idea here is that it would give them more time, to, if they have a really complicated investigation, to finish that process. I mean, some might argue, you know, if you're against this, you might say, well, 90 days seems like enough time. We don't want them to stonewall. We don't want to waste a lot of time. But generally, this seems reasonable to me. 90 days isn't very much time if you have to do the investigation and write the report.
Okay. The Cost Control Commission report, what's that about? Again, the Cost Control Commission seems like a good idea. What is the change that's proposed?
Sure. The Cost Control Commission is a great commission on Kauai. They recommend changes to government that can save money. What they're asking is saying, look, sometimes saving money involves spending a little bit of money. But right now, they can't make those recommendations. They can only make recommendations that would reduce the amount of money spent. They can't think about it as holistically as you might like. So this would give them that ability.
The thing that I'm thinking of is like you might have to privatize something or automate something. You might have to buy a computer system that's very expensive one year, but saves you a ton of money in the back end.
Exactly.
So they can make that kind of recommendation. Okay. The Public Access Open Space and Natural Resources Preservation Fund, 5% of the county's open space fund available. It sounds like a lot of money, but it sounds like this is also a very specific purpose within the existing fund.
Exactly. The trouble they have now is that they can't use any of that money to buy equipment or materials that'll help them maintain that open space. So this would allow them to buy shovels, lumber, wheelbarrows, whatever you need.
We're talking about volunteers being able to do this.
Exactly,
right?
Volunteers, exactly. But now this fund would be able to purchase those supplies.
And help volunteers take care of things in their communities. Okay, relating to surety bonds, at what level of education do you need to actually make this decision? It sounds like a hard one.
So look, this is a really technical one. All it's saying really is allowing the county more options. They can go for the surety bond option that they have now, or they can explore insurance. This seems like a pretty common sense solution. Apparently, it's a little harder to get surety bonds these days. So this would just provide another good option.
And it says specifically insurance. Right.
Insurance, exactly.
So like people don't realize that sometimes you have to have insurance for an employee who might make a mistake and has to pay damages to somebody.
Exactly. And so this would allow the county to use insurance rather than the surety bond mechanism.
This is actually my favorite amendment of all of them. Shall the charter be amended to establish ex officio positions for youth on boards and commissions to be filled by Kauai resident high school juniors or seniors? What's the idea?
So I love this one. I mean, basically the idea is we're going to get more young people involved in government. We're going to give them seats on these commissions so they can understand how it works, so we can get some of their input, but also just so they can experience how this all works. I think this is great. I mean, the best way to get people to understand it, to care about it, is to give them the opportunity to participate.
And it could be a lot of opportunities.
Sure. There's a lot of these that they could serve on, yeah.
And don't worry, they don't get to vote.
Right.
Okay. That concludes our conversation about the Kauai Charter amendments. We have similar conversations about all the other counties as well as the statewide amendments also on our website.